Alright, it's the final month of 2020. I got 7 series left before we get to the fall series. Well, technically 9, but A3 got a second season, and Gal and Dino is laying passed out drunk on the couch, and I don't know when Funimation is going to come wake it up again. So which 5 of these 7 are going to get scheduled for the month? Well, December starts with D, so let's do the Ds. So that means we got Dendrogram, Detective, Decadence, and Diary. For the final one, let's throw in Appa Raman. I don't think I can get away with counting the D in ID Invaded, so you know the deal. Let's get started with the first one on this list, Infinite Dendrogram. Infinite Dendrogram refers to the virtual MMO that players like Ray Sterling sign up to play. The tagline is that this game offers infinite possibilities for the embryo system, which every player draws their power from. Each embryo falls into about 5 categories and somewhat personalized based on the player's personality and background. Like if you had a background in martial arts and you made a buffed dude as your avatar, you'd most likely get an embryo that boosts your physical abilities. Also in the game is a race of AIs known as the Tians, that make up the NPCs that inhabit the world, who for all purposes act like people, with their own dreams and loved ones, but are referred to as AIs, so we can bring in the old second-class citizen elements into the story. But back to our main character, Ray Sterling, who has received a maiden-type embryo which gives him an AI partner named Nemesis, who transforms into the weapon he draws his power from. The story follows him as he explores the new world as he determines what kind of player he wants to be. Now here are some of the issues this series has. One is unfocused as all hell. They just switch on the fly on what the core story arc will be. From the debate on the values of the lives of the NPCs, to dealing with the overtop villain players, to teasing character arcs that really go nowhere, to trying to figure out the mystery behind the game. Almost all of these would have been a fine major story arc, but trying to do all 4 in 12 episodes, you're only shooting yourself in the foot as you don't have time to do all of these as a major arc. Which is a shame, as balancing the 4 leaves Ray Sterling rather bland, as we get hints that there's more, such as when he's debating the value that should be put on the NPCs' lives, which could have jump-started his arc, but since it gets put on the back burner, it never truly starts. A lot of this plays the cast as well, as the only time they get developed is in the exposition dumps before they start fighting, which does give them the reason they do the things they do, but it feels a bit out of the blue and kind of forced. The exceptions to this is Hugo and the main villain Franklin. Hugo is a player role-playing as a typical heroic prince, saving the ladies, a strong sense of morals, and a bit of the overtop flair you expect from such an archetype. This is neat and something you would actually expect to see from players of an MMO. Plus, they have an interesting back and forth with the protagonist, as they both have a maiden-type embryo. Thus, they share a similar vision on the Tians, and they treat their lives with the same value as a human life. This part is important for spoiler reasons. As for Franklin, they're just so over the top, they're petty, they love to talk, and they're not afraid to be as dastardly as they can be, because they can. They taunt Ray constantly and just heal it up at every moment they can, which makes them just a blast to watch. The series also drops just enough hints of the psychosis of the player behind the avatar to grip us and get us thinking. But that answer will probably be stuck behind the light novel, as I doubt the series is getting the season 2 treatment. But there is one thing this series does very well, and that is world building. If you want a deeper dive, check out Mother's Basement's video on how this and Bofuri developed an excellent game-based world. But essentially, to break down some of the points, this world actually does feel like a game. Players can play however they want. They can do PvP, quest solo, quest as a group, dungeon crawl, or work on a non-combat profession. We also see players customize themselves, try new weapons, look for cool cosmetics, and make a name for themselves in the area they reside. Also, the game penalty of being killed resulting in a 24-hour timer where you can't log in creates tension for the players for their decisions, as if they fail on the quest, this could result in the NPC they were questing with to permanently die, and thus change the area that they're questing in. All of this applies to every area and country in the game world, which can create drama between players from different in-game countries, as they want their area to flourish, but that could lead to another one being adversely affected. Also, focus on the NPCs and how players look and treat them help provide a great barometer on the character's morals. Thus, the world affects the characters, and their actions affect the world, thus creating a feedback loop. It's a true shame that this world building is let down by unfocused narrative and characters, as when they do focus on the characters and the world mysteries, it does set it up pretty well. But unfortunately, it just can't overcome this poor narrative direction, be it on either the source material or the staff in charge. But this triples what was possibly a good to great series into something run-of-the-mill. I still think it's a fun, mindless watch, and it does pick up when Franklin shows up, but I don't think their shoulders are strong enough to carry this series above fine. But if you like series that create a fake game, general action, or power-based fights, there is something here to enjoy. But for those looking for something deeper, this won't hit the mark.